He's so veiny. He's so veiny.
Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another He's So Veiny. I've got new glasses. They're my backup glasses. I don't have the real ones yet, but these are good enough. They're better than those 2013 perp glasses I was wearing the last time you saw me. You're gonna be seeing a whole lot of me this one. Oh yes, this is people have asked for it. There's been great demand. There's been one person who wanted to see the Kundalini energy in action. So um, I've been straining my back a lot, uprooting things and planting things and all kinds of fun stuff out in the yard. So my lower left back has been killing me, and so I decided to come up to the workshop and tape myself dancing and prancing around with the Kundalini to try to stretch it out and make it all better. Of course, I forgot to ask for that, but it still stretched me, regardless. I'll show a little of that now as I'm talking, but for some reason, and I don't know why, because the sound settings are exactly the same as what I'm doing now, the sound didn't really record. You can every now and then hear a low murmur of sound, but it didn't record. And I thought it was important because there are certain things beating out certain sounds on the chest and how I breathe. Not I breathe, but how this energy breathes me. Might be interesting or maybe important. I don't know, to hear, to figure out what's going on for those of you who like a mystery. So what am I talking about? In case you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, this energy which I've been sort of poking fun at YouTube video after YouTube video of people claiming to have Kundalini symptoms or Kundalini activation or things like this. And I know that they're full of it because I live with this 24/7 and it ain't that. There's no symptoms, there's none of that garbage. Whatever they're doing. I mean, I shouldn't be too harsh on them because while a lot of it is just like hypnotism, just like they've seen what they think it is and they've decided they've got it and they're going to go perform it. Um, a lot of it is, could be other things happening in the body that are just mistaken identity. So, but whatever it is, I mean, whatever the ultimate culprit, it isn't this. And people always, not always, but a lot of people ask, well, how do you know? Why, why do you have to be the special one or whatever, that kind of thing. Like, who are you to make fun of them? Um, well, for two reasons. One is, who are you to make fun of them uh, when you're this guy, the guy dancing on the screen right now? Like, right, like that's one. Like, who are you to make fun of anyone uh, about their crazy when your craziness is on display here? And the answer is that's why, because I know that it is real. I live with it. I live it, and it lives me. And so it's important to discern. Just like if you knew the truth about anything, or if you knew a fact about something, you would speak out against liars, right? Or lying where you saw it, maybe. So, or if people were just wrong or people were delusional, you might call that out, and then maybe they have a prayer of correcting themselves or you not picking up their delusions or their wrongness and running with it and thinking that you've got the truth on your side or a fact on your side. I mean, to me, this is just basic stuff, but I think when it comes to quote unquote spirituality or spiritual energy or something along these lines where it gets murky, because there are no, at least in our westernized culture, facts known about it, that seems to indicate it should be a free rein for anyone to make any sort of truth claim and they're all equally valid, and it just isn't the case. So you don't treat it like the case in anything else, in any other part of your life. Why would you treat it that way here? Although that said, uh, I realize that for the last, I don't know, has it been a decade yet? 10 years? 9 years? People have been living in fantasy land, and especially since COVID. going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole of nonsense and believing that to be true, and then having that validated by people on YouTube or wherever one gets their social media telling them that whatever you believe is true. So, and of course, that's all in service to fascism, which we're seeing play out right now. Yay! So let's not be fascists and let's not be tricked into believing nothing or believing everything, which is believing nothing, whatever that is, where they win, where they get you. And while you're believing that you're creating your own reality, they're sliding in their policies that become your reality. Let's not do that anymore. So that's one reason you might think like, oh, well, who are you? And then the other reason is, um, I don't know well, I guess they don't know this about me because sometimes I'm so cynical or skeptical or however that shakes out that one may not even realize that I live with this or that I am an experiencer of highly strange things. Um, so yeah, so they either think that I'm like a debunker or they think that I'm trying to remain even more special than special people. The really, really short bus, a van. Uh, but it's just not the case. And, even within Kundalini mythology itself, I go back to people say it's a goddess or it's an intelligence, right? It's an intelligent energy doing something. Then they go on to explain what it's doing. So even in that, like if you were to subscribe to that, why would a goddess be just doing like um weird glitchy body movements or making you feel super hot and super cold and feel sick, just like random feelings in your nervous system, like or nervous ticks that you then go, oh, that's a kriya, that's a spontaneous movement because I went, ugh, right? Like that's what a goddess spends her time doing, folks. I don't think so. I only know Pele from Hawaii here, but I don't think she's doing that. And, neither is the Kundalini serpent woman, or is she a fish? Is she a mermaid? I don't know. We've so culturally appropriated. I can't keep up with what the Kundalini goddess is supposed to be. Okay. Oh, I'll also say I wore my what was it, the Thunder Eagle Miyagi Do? Is that what this was called? Shirt from Cobra Kai. I may have that wrong, but yeah, you gotta have a sense of humbleness and when you weirdness. Like it's not enough to just be a fat guy prancing around on the screen for you in his shorts. I've got to wear an asshole shirt. So you're welcome. Have a sense of humor about everything, folks, because it's all play in the end. Um, I shouldn't say that out loud because then people are going to take that to be like, yeah, it's all play in the end, nothing matters. And that's play has its discipline too. Okay, so instead of just going on with this, I will, or this, wherever it shows up on the screen, I will, I'm gonna unleash the goddess. It's not a goddess. I'm gonna let this happen, um, sitting down here and just see what happens. See if any slapping sounds or anything or breathing occurs, and you can figure out what's going on if you know what these movements are. I don't know what these movements are specifically. Some of them, obviously, I've seen this, I've seen Buddhist statues and Hindu god statues making symbols like that, but that's about it for me. And I don't remember what that is supposed to indicate off the top of my head. But I have looked it up. I just don't remember. So all I know is that my back feels better. So that's what's important. Also, you may be tempted to say like, oh, well, if you're dancing around like that and no one's doing it and you're not nuts and you're not lying, then are you possessed? And the answer is no. And how do I know that? Well, I tend to think possession at this point is a religious construct. Um, I will be, hopefully by the end of this year, publishing a book on Kundalini, and I will talk about what it is there because one, nobody likes spoilers, and two, it's a little complicated. But the short of it is, I mean, all life is interconnected, and that includes death. Interconnecting. Um, so that's the rough gist of it. It's not possession. It's not channeling. It's not a goddess. Um, and one could argue that it is me once removed in the sense, not me, the personal egoic me, but when you transcend and include the ego, when one dies within oneself, as this one has, and one resurrects as themselves, but kind of a 2.0 version, and one has this energy with them, is there a further death that could occur where this energy becomes one and isn't just two? isn't isn't a second operating system in the body, but the two are one, and he is me. I think that is probably the case. So, um, what it is the intelligence of silence, speaking through the body when I shut up. I mean, that's the short of it. Who's doing the movements and what these movements are is the long of it. But the short of it is it's the intelligence of silence doing this through the body. And that is that intelligence of silence is you and me when we're not in the way. So this could be you if you play your cards right. Anyway, okay, enough jokes. I'm going to take off my glasses so as not to smash them, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see how long this takes. Is that everything you need to know? I think that's everything. Just note, I guess, I've said this before in another video where I do this, but just note that, note what doesn't, not just what's happening, but what's not happening. I'm not lighting incense. I'm not lighting candles. There's no preparation. There's no deep breath work I've got to do beforehand or premeditating meditation. There's no getting into character, right? It just is instantaneous. So that. All right. I guess that's just another way to know when someone is pretending either to you or to themselves or both. Is if they've got prep work involved. That ain't it. All right. So I'm not going to talk throughout this, but let me just say that I can talk through this if I want. Um, this is not me doing these movements, and I have the camera on autofocus, so I hope this doesn't come out a blurry mess, and my apologies if it does. I'll shut up now. All right. I'm calling it. So that's kind of what that looks like sometimes when it does. It's not always the same, not ever the same, because we're different moment to moment and therefore day to day. And so our needs are different moment to moment and day to day. So this idea of you need to do the same movements to the left and to the right side of your body, or, to keep in balance is false. That's not balance. Balance is the doing what you need to do moment to moment, day to day, not pretending to stay by balance by doing equally to one side as the other. There's one revolutionary idea for you. Is there anything else you need to know? I mean, it looks weird, right? I'm sure I'm going to look back at this and it's going to be embarrassing. My eyes are crossing. It looks like there's an entity there, or I'm, going to start barking out like Bashar or something. But I promise you, I'm not lying. I'm not delusional, hopefully. This is not a possession, not channeling, not a god or goddess or something. Although that doesn't mean that does. I mean, it's the intelligence of silence with friends. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Utilizing friends. Um, so that's that. All right. I think that's enough, right? I can go back to being veiny. Well, I guess just one more thing. So the reason that I can just shut up for a second and then this comes alive and does the thing, as opposed to you just shutting up for a second and then nothing happening, is that the death of self is the first order of business. And clearly I am a self here talking to you. So and while this is active, I can talk to you as myself. Um, because it has to happen the once. The once it happens and the energy flowers, now there's you and the energy. So I'm no longer an unconscious obstacle to this energy. I may be an unconscious obstacle to the energy as myself, but as an other operating system. I shouldn't call it that because then you'll think that life is a computer matrix and we're all stuck in a simulation or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just using it as an analogy that there are sort of two operating systems in the body now where they probably need to merge for me to be even wholer than whole. But I'm just saying that the reason that that's not happening for you is because the death of self has to be the case for this to be the case. And then once it is, you coexist and you're no longer unconsciously blocking it out, you're consciously blocking it out to go on with life. So there's that. Also, I should say that even though, I mean, I'm not sweating now, but when I was like dancing around, I was sweating. Um, it's not tiring because it's not you doing it. It's like, it's as if, like, if you've, I don't know, if you've ever floated in water, or if you can remember when you were a kid and or maybe you have a significant other or a friend or something where you'd be lying in water and they would move your body around or they would swing you around. It's like that. It's that feeling, the feeling of moving through water, but someone else doing the moving. So it's got that amount of uh, tension. So, in other words, I mean, I'm a sweaty fat guy and that's just the way it is, but I don't feel fatigued in any way. Like dancing around, walking around, doing these movements aren't fatiguing in any way because it is as if someone else's energy is just marionetting the body, not outside me. I'm using it as an analogy again. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. I'm saying that that is the sort of analogous sense of tension or uh, you know usage of energy for you to move around, however to say that. Um, so now the danger, of course, in showing you this is that you will either probably not want it or you will want it. And then both of those are a desire in one direction or another, and that gets in the way of the death of self. The death of self is really the first order thing. It's the only order thing. All of this other stuff, the he's so veiny stuff, all the laughs, is just the frills, man. It's the cherry on top. It's not the sundae. You got to eat the sundae for the goodness. And especially now, when I think you can, especially if you live in America, you can see that this mind of ours ain't gonna self-correct. So instead of worrying about the country turning fascist, which it is, I mean, it's there. We're, we've got one side that is creating an authoritarian dictatorship, and we've got another side that's um, too too in the pocket of corporations to care about doing anything about it, but also too old to have the energy to even know how to fight it. But even so, um, the idea that you fight it off and then replace it with something better only invites it to rear its head, and you keep going, and then you think like that's what life is, this push and pull between good and evil, or yin and yang, or whatever. Again, that sense of what balance is in duality. But that's not balance. I mean, that's inevitable. I guess it sort of is balance in duality, but I'm saying we need to be non-dual. And duality, non-duality, these are cold terms that are really meaningless. What we need is to be the intelligence of silence, to be truth, not to speak truth, not to speak truth to power, because again, yes, if you're not going to do what I'm talking about here, if you don't give a shit and you just want to stay you and suffer through this, then yes, do the thing that causes the least amount of suffering and betters you in the turmoil. But if you see the futility of it ultimately and see that the only way out is literally to drop it, you're not going to do anything about it socially or culturally, but within you, if you're just so damn fatigued by all this crap, just shut up, right? Stop running from it, stop running to a new solution, and just realize that the mind that is creating this mess can't get out of this mess. And just see the fact of that. See the fact of it deeply enough that the body stops doing the mind, stops projecting that mind, and just relaxes. And in that moment of relaxation, if it is complete, perhaps a revolution will happen within, and uh, and then we can talk about what all this stuff is. All right. Until then, take care, and I'm sure I'll get back to making fun of stuff on the next show.
He's so veiny. He's so